Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome back to the Nothing Podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything all in one. For this week's episode, we have a very, very special guest, one of my very good friends, the person who probably knows me the most, the person who's been with me through a lot of things. Not only is he a musician, but he's also an actor professionally in both. And he also studied drama. And he's not only an all-round good person, also decent athlete, decent, emphasis on decent. Everybody welcome Woko Maya,
Hanky, hello.
Dragon Slayer.
Hi.
So how did you get, walk us through how you got into the whole acting, drama, music scene from the young age.
So I've been having this conversation a lot lately, for some reason.
I think it comes with, progressing with your career and meeting new people.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what. Wow, he's so wise. He's so smart, this guy. To be honest, I had, like I said, I had this exact conversation like 2 days ago with some of my castmates, and when I was young, it was kind of always just a thing of, I like to perform, I like to make people laugh. I wasn't really good at anything else. Like if you take my matric certificate and like hold it here, you would see like 50, maybe 60 here and there, then like a 35. And then drama was always in the 80s, in the 90s, and it was just something it came naturally to me to perform, because I'm a lazy person. Okay, I don't like to work work too hard. So I only work hard with things that I have a passion for, and acting and performing was one of those things, or two of those things.
And where did the music come from? Where do you have like a family member, friends, maybe your mom or your dad?
No. I think that the music thing came from my pure like lust for performing. I always did stage and not a lot of screen acting, but it was just my love for performance, and I was always good at improvising. That was kind of my strong suit. So improvising was always my strong suit back in high school. That's why it was kind of easy for me, because I could improv like on my feet. So I thought to myself, what would be what's one thing that you can't really script, and it's still scripted to a sense, but you can still improv and do things that you want to do, and that just come naturally. You can just say them. You don't have to double check the script, or the director will be angry at you because you're not following the script word for word. And music was one of those things. Performing live, the music came secondary to performing live. The live performance is what, because there I can just go. There's obviously some little like not scripted parts, but stuff I've set up with previous shows, so it's like a constant workshop of like what works, what are people laughing, aren't they laughing, type of situation.
I think I find it very interesting of how you approach both, and you find similarities between both the acting and the music, because usually a lot of people either do one or the other. There aren't really, if you think back in history, a lot of artists that did both music and acting at the same time. And you are, in the past year, you have blossomed so much, not only when it comes to your band, but also when it comes to your career acting wise. You are in a new upcoming show. It's coming soon to the screens.
We can't say anything about it, just a little reminder, otherwise I get sued.
Yes, otherwise you get sued. And I always find it amazing how you manage to do both so well and at such a high pace. For instance, this week you're shooting the whole week, and then the weekend you're playing like 4 different shows. And to keep not only the energy up, but the performance, and not get tired of it. I think I find it very inspiring. How do you find What do you do to channel your inner creativity so that you make sure you give your 100% whether it comes to being in front of the camera or being on stage and entertaining people?
Creatively, in front of my camera, it's. Sorry, let me just turn on.
I told you.
Yeah, you told me in the beginning. I know.
Silence on
I know.
set.
I know. It's Charles. Hi, Charles. You're interrupting this.
Charles.
That's honestly, I feel like I could. In the past, I did it well. Now, because then I just went off of like instinct, and now it's a little bit harder because the instinct isn't always there. You aren't always feeling it.
Yeah.
And that's still something I'm traversing, and I'm getting a little bit better at it now. I'm getting it back, or not back. I'm learning new ways, because sometimes you honestly don't feel like it, and I feel like a lot of creative people can say that sometimes you just don't feel like it, and you still have to show up, you have to perform, you moet uithaal en wys, you know.
Yeah.
And I would say on set, like when you're performing on stage or in front of camera, that's a little bit. It's not. I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's a little bit more. It's just a snap, and you're into it.
Yeah.
Someone yells action, or the curtains open up, and then you have to be in it. You have to be in it.
Almost as if there's something in your mind that switches.
Yeah, there's just like a little switch that goes on in your mind, and that's something that I've always I haven't really struggled with that. And it's the one common thing that I have between performance, whether it's acting and performance musically, is crowd.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in front of camera, you don't have a audience that can react there and do their things. But I know afterwards, I can look into people's eyes. I can see if they're laughing. I can see if they're nodding, and they're like, "Oh, that was a good one."
Yeah.
And that depends on your director as well. I have a great opportunity now to work with an amazing director.
Yeah.
He'll probably, if he ever watches this, he'll probably just be like, "Shut up, suck up." But that makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because we've played shows with my band Biakom in front of maybe 2 people before, and then it's hard to feed from the crowd then. Yeah. But then you can put up a barrier, and you can just be like, I'm just gonna play.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna enjoy it, and I'm just gonna play. And then we've also played in front of probably, I think our biggest crowd yet was around 450 people.
Yeah, where was that?
At Railways with a Planet Caravan show, and that show was amazing. It was great because the crowd was just feeding, and I could feed off. It was like a ping pong game. It was the whole time.
Yeah.
And then we've also played in front of 450 people plus, who didn't care that we were there.
Yeah.
They didn't, and I don't. It's not like a thing of I feel
some type of way.
I feel some type of way about it. It's just those people, they were obviously, we played a show for that next gen show for Folk of Polisiecar. And it was just obviously people are there for the headliners, people are there for the big band that's going to play at the end. They're not necessarily there for the beginning band. And it was hard realizing that first. You're not always going to play a show that's packed, that all the people on there are very susceptible to your vibe. And that's also something I'm learning to traverse now. But then always, like I said, whether you're playing, and if you're not getting that energy back from the crowd, you put up you don't put up a wall, but you centralize yourself on the stage, and then you just make sure you enjoy, and then people enjoy. And that's actually also what happened at the show.
Yeah, sounds like there's quite a lot of challenges, whether it is being in front of the camera or being on the stage. I think with a lot of things in life, there'll always be a challenge when it comes to certain things. And also, I don't know if a lot of people do this, but you actually do a lot of the content for Biakom as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the challenges, what challenges do you face when it comes to getting content for social media for Biakom? Being not only being a member of the band, but also remembering to we have to after or before the show take some skits and stuff so that we can post, because everyone, if you have either a brand or a business, you have to be online. You have to make sure that your presence online is very good. How do you overcome those challenges of being the brand and also making sure that you find a way to promote the brand?
So I don't trust anybody else to do it. It's the main thing.
Yeah.
Which is also why I think me and the band are still doing that. They're also active in our socials. Obviously, we can't also not afford to pay someone at this point
Yeah.
out of the band salary. So but that's like a secondary reason. I feel like I wish I could tell this to my younger self. I honestly don't care
Yeah.
about my social presence. That makes it a whole lot easier for me to create content,
Okay.
because I don't have that thing, that little voice that's like, oh, everybody's gonna see this, it has to be perfect. I don't have that in my head.
Yeah.
I literally just make what I would laugh about. I think if I look back at it, it's like, this is funny. Even if it gets like a little chuckle out of me, then that's great. Then it's fine. Then I don't put too high standards on the type of content I make, because I also don't have the facility. We also don't have the facilities yet
Yeah.
to do. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So you can't. One day we have like a great feedback and great interaction with our content, and it's amazing, and it's well produced, and we put a lot of effort into it, and then that gets a great response, and then sometimes we make stuff that's like, pure brain rot, and I think like, oh, this is the stupidest thing I've ever made, but I'm gonna post it because once again, I don't put too high standards on the type of content we make, because it's just a post.
Yeah.
Just a post. Get the message out there. Tell the people what you want to tell them. We want to convince people at the shows. I want to convince the people that come to the shows, the people who are there. I want to give them the full experience. If you want to come and watch a Beerkom show, I want to give them. I won't disappoint them.
Yeah.
Online, that's one thing, because I know I'm just one reel in a billion
Yes.
that you're just gonna swipe through. So I think it's just taking off the stress of like wanting to perform, of wanting to put something out that's high quality and nice and it's perfect up to all your high standards. Scratch that.
Yeah.
Just make funny stuff. That you want to look at. Obviously, when there's a goal to be reached, then you can take it a little bit more seriously. But I can't imagine being an influencer that has to like, every single day you make a video or content and you shoot and that's your life. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say that you not pushing too much pressure on yourself and as a whole as a band have helped you to find your identity and who you are, like online, on your online presence and everything?
Because it's a lot. Exactly that. Because I think it's a lot more honest, and I'm a very cynical person. In what?
I'm just looking to check if everything's still recording. Yeah.
I'm a very cynical person, and my one director in high school, I can't remember which one exactly told it to me, but I remember it was somewhere in high school. Or in university. My memory is not that great. But I remember I did a piece and I performed it, and the director was like, I don't believe you. And that clicked something in my mind that I also was like, that's how I feel a lot of the time when I watch movies or I watch content or I even watch live bands. I sit there and I say like, you tried so hard to make this into something way out of the ballpark, and you tried to impress other people firstly before impressing yourself. That I don't believe what you're telling me, and that's the thing. It's like you wanna kind of cultivate truth, and our videos are stupid. I'm making it sound like I'm this philosophical. I post like these quotes and like I give life advice or something about it, but it's not that. It's I just want to see someone being honest, and that when you're honest with me, like that creates a connection immediately. It creates a much stronger connection for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And how would you say, with social media being so quick, something that would trend like 3 months ago, now it's way out of date. How would you say you try and stay relevant with the trends and the current things that are happening?
I don't.
Yeah.
Trends tend to die. So obviously if you're just gonna use it as like a little hipstoikie to get you where you want to go, then you use it. But like I said, it's too much. It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's a fabricated system that was made up by Mark Zuckerberg when he decided to make his app more addictive.
Yeah.
So I don't like playing into. I don't like playing. I sound like a crypto bro right now, but like a conspiracy bro,
A philosopher.
a philosopher. But I don't like to, because if you start to play too hard into it, then it becomes you.
Yeah.
And I don't trust social media enough to let it actually be a part of me. Maybe when I was younger.
Yeah. And how do you dictate that as a person? How do you overcome that thing? Because it's very easy to get sucked into the whole thing. You see someone doing so well, doing a specific type of content. Like, let's say, for instance, they are doing a lot of a day in the life of a artist or whatever. How do you not get sucked into it to be like, oh, maybe if I also do that, I'm also gonna pop off, and our whole brand as an identity is going to become better. How do you stay off that and regulate your mind not to get sucked up into all of that?
I think you should focus on what's real, what's tangible, because obviously the content that you want to make, that a lot of people are making, is just, it's a very like little small, and these are just for the people that are like very maybe a little bit more self-aware than others. Is you, what did I want to say now?
We were talking about how not to get sucked up into into the whole social media thing, and how to
is you have a firm grasp on tangible things that you can actually do.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what I wanted to say now is that you get these clips, and it's funny and it's amazing. It's not even that funny, to be honest. Most of the time, it's just following a formula. It's not real. It's literally just a little snippet of like, take for instance those guys that go out on the street and like ask a couple of questions at like on the strip or something, or in a like crowded nightclub area. I think it's all just social
constructions.
Social constructions and quips to, because if you just made videos where you actually just like talk to people and they didn't have anything interesting to say, then you're not going to post it. The content that clicks something in your mind for whatever reason, whether it's like they're putting like a pretty girl in the thumbnail, or they're putting like a car going off a bridge in the thumbnail. It's just those like it's that addictive thing for me that I don't like it. That's why I don't want to really. I do it on our channel, but that's the thing, is it for our brand. It's getting the message out there. I don't want to get people hooked on our socials. I want to get them hooked on the band. I want to get them to our shows so that people can experience it for themselves, and then they can make their opinion.
Yeah. And who are some of the people that you say you look up to, or maybe like growing up that you looked up to and you were like, wow, this guy or this person, I really want to be someone like them when I grow up? Or even now, who are some of the people that influenced Beacom and Wolco as an actor to be better?
Well, when I was younger, obviously it was like superheroes and like celebrities.
We all looked up to superheroes.
Yeah. Batman. We all looked up to like those kind of people. But as I get older, my dad actually is a very big role model for me. Not like everything he does, I see him as a person with his faults and his strong points. But I want to be that kind of person that takes charge and takes accountability for what he has in life and what he's doing, what he's putting out into the world. I don't have a lot of. I have a lot of influences, but I wouldn't say they're role models.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I would honestly just say my dad.
Yeah.
Maybe some other mentors that I can speak about as people I've worked with in the past. My previous job, we had these two bosses. I think they're twins. I'm not too sure. But I worked at a musical school, and just these guys' drive and passion for what they're doing inspired me, not to do the same as them, but to have the same passion and drive for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what what a role model should be.
Mm.
Is you see someone who is truly passionate and outgoing for what they're doing, and they want to make it a success.
Yeah.
They don't convince you through. They don't convince you to do necessarily the same thing. They just convince you to do it with conviction and with passion.
Yeah. Yeah. And who are some people that you say like are like not necessarily role models, but like people that that influence you, where there's like a little bit, take a little bit from this person and this person, to try and make your own thing and your own identity.
With what, like the band?
With musically speaking.
Musically, sure. I would say. Uncle Spike is always the name we say, and just purely not necessarily because we wanted to copy what they're doing, but because they made something new that sounded different, that wasn't catered to a mass market. It wasn't created in like this little musical lab to like flick the dopamine receptors in your head. It was made out of pure passion and I think and truth. Passion and truth, and that's why it got so far. Is what it got, because it was genuine to me. Uncle Spike's music was genuine. It didn't take
just
itself
a PSA,
to.
Uncle Spike, please come back.
Ja, alsjeblieft kom terug.
Please.
It didn't take it. I don't think they took it too seriously, but sometimes they did. So it just created this beautiful like piece of art that was very genuine and silly at the same time. And you kind of knew they meant the words they said, and you can kind of see yourself to why they're saying what they're saying.
Okay. No, it's very interesting. I think there's quite a lot of things as a person that influences you, and you just have to take a bit from this person and that person. But like, how do you separate the vocal that's an actor and the vocal that's in the band, or is it the same person? Do you often find having that internal identity struggle within you to try and overcome?
I think I have a very different problem, it's that when I'm performing, I'm always the same person. I'm a very heightened. I feel like I'm a very heightened version of myself that is not, he's not self-conscious. He's not. Hy's nie versigtig nie, hy's nie, I have the same personality for a lot of the things, which can also be a bad thing. So there's not a really big like I have to jump into this character or jump out of this character. When I'm acting, it's a little bit easier because I like the other day we shot maybe like a more if we shoot a more emotional scene, then I get into it quite easily because there's a lot of pressure put on me right now. And I think that's also a big thing of how I operate is I operate well under pressure. If I don't feel the pressure, I don't perform. If you get what I'm saying.
No, I get you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. And especially in our time where each and every person is trying to get online, either trying to be a musician, be an actor, content creator, or anything like that. What advice would you say, like, if you had to go look at your 10 years ago, 14-year-old self, what advice would you give to yourself to become the person that you are now? Or anyone else that's, still wants to come and try and make it?
I would say, like, just rock rustig, stop stressing so much. It'll, like, God has a plan. It'll work out the way it needs to work out. You obviously need to work towards it. But don't be so unsure of the future, because it doesn't matter what's gonna happen. You'll probably you'll be fine. You'll figure something out. You're not like I have something between my ears, and I have a drive and I have a passion. And I only recently learned if you just feed that drive and the passion, then you'll be fine. And it's very easy to do. Not always, but you can. It's not like climbing a mountain. It comes in waves, and as soon as you learn that, like the wave format of how your emotions run, and that's also a big thing. I think a lot of creative people, they work off of their emotion a lot. And I actually, one of my directors actually advised me against it, because we were doing a show once, and I was just crying in one of the rooms because I got into character. I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
I at least didn't do it in front of everybody and
At
make
least
it their
not.
problem.
Yeah.
But I pushed myself to that point, and I was so into it, that when I actually got to the performance and I had to have those emotional moments, like the emotions just weren't there anymore because I expelled them
Before.
before. They were gone. I already felt them.
Yeah.
I was very focused, but I wasn't in
the
tune.
moment, yeah.
In the moment. I wasn't there in the moment. I was
Yeah.
just very focused on what I'm doing. I wasn't in the moment.
Mm.
So, I would say inspiration comes from a lot of places, and you should just respect the ride.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, then you kind of you subliminally know what tricks you can pull to get yourself into the right mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Just to end things off, we always like to do a section of overrated, underrated. With you being musically inclined, and when it comes to the performances and stuff, what, musically speaking, are some things that you'd say are happening now that you'd say are either overrated or underrated? Is there anything that you feel like this person is doing too much of it, or as a whole in the industry we are too focused into this specific thing, or is there a specific genre or an artist that you feel like is perhaps a bit too overrated or underrated? Is there any artist that you think is underrated, that you think more people should be listening to this artist?
There's this band called Beerkom.
Beerkom.
No, I would say there's a lot of amazing local bands right now that are truly doing the most. I remember one time we went to like a big band show, and I was just sitting there and I was like, yeah, I know the songs, but I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored. And nowadays when I see like a bunch of new bands coming up, it's not necessarily a thing of like they're trying really hard, and because you don't want to be a tryhard.
Yeah.
It's just they have something in them that's just, they have this like little bomb inside them that they just ignite every time they go do a show, and that's bands like the Fokalodi, Drumfish. Who else can I quickly mention in here that I feel like are still very underrated?
21 Children.
21 Children.
21 Children.
Rough Magic. There's a lot of local band scenes. Basically, any local band that got past the 5-year mark or the 3-year mark.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why they're still
Yeah.
they're still doing it. And I feel like that they're heavily underrated. And the thing is also, a lot of musicians, they thrive off of their impression that they leave with people.
Yeah.
So if you push them, then they'll soar and rock it up. But they don't always have that reassurance that what they're doing is something that has not been done before, and something that is truly amazing and beautiful to watch. So I would say the local scene is it's heavily underrated.
Okay, no, I agree. I highly agree with that. And speaking of the longevity, how Beerkom has been together for like how much, like 5 years now?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
4 or 5 years. How did you guys maintain that longevity? I mean, at the beginning, even still now, everyone was still studying. So how did you guys find the time between, your private life and performing and school? How did you guys find the balance and not succumb to the pressure?
To be honest, we just bulldozed through each problem.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times there were problems that arose, and we just pushed through.
Yeah.
We never said we're gonna stop, because it wasn't in our vocabulary to say we're gonna stop. And I think a lot of the bands out there now, if the ones that don't last long, they run into a few problems in the beginning, and then they say, okay, no, this is not worth it. I have other things I have to do in my life. I'm just gonna, I don't want to have this pressure on me. And also the thing is, because we've been doing it for so long, we know how to deal with it by now. It's not a new, when problems come up, like we think of solutions very quickly. It's if you're struggling with your band, I would say you need to push through those times and get it over and done with as quick as possible, because then you will actually learn how to manage them in the future.
Yeah.
And the more problems arise, the more you'll learn how to manage them. And then you're just a unit after a while. Then it's not the biggest problem. Like our drummer told us for a show we played recently, or not recently, in the beginning when things were just a little bit rough, our drummer said he couldn't make a show. We were playing in Potch, and it was also just like 2 or 3 days, 4 days before, because something just came up, and we got around it. We literally played an open mic in Johannesburg. We met this other guy, says he's a drummer, and we were like, okay, well, we're not gonna not go to the show. We want to go play in Potch, so let's just organize one little band prac with this guy and see how it goes. There we go. And then we went. It wasn't amazing. But and then we went to go play the show. Also wasn't amazing. But we were there. We played the show, you know. So I would just say, like, pushing through.
Yeah. Oh, great, man. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for the listener for listening. And you can always comment, subscribe, let us know what you thought of this episode, if you liked anything, if you didn't like anything. And that's it for this week's episode of the Nothing Podcast. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Yes,
Het record daai ding nog.
Ja.
Want ons hardloop op 'n uur en